there are ways you can kind of multitask streaming and YouTube content. One thing that I used to do a while back was do like match commentaries where you hit record at the same time that you're streaming on Twitch, do a running commentary of the game, and then stop it after you're done. And you have a perfect content for YouTube. You see a lot of big streamers doing this. I'm familiar with the League of Legends directory. A lot of people will do that in the League directory, whether that's a game review or a patch rundown or anything. So that's a good way if you don't have a lot of time, if you don't want to pay an editor, you can actually just record something yourself on stream with minimal editing and throw it on YouTube, and it can work pretty well. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the GreenChord podcast. This is our weekly show here at TRUgaming, where we tell you how to level up your stream on Twitch on a panel with 3 guests. This week we have, again, 3 guests. The first one is Glock9, who's been on the show before. It's Glock9? Is that how you say it?
Yeah,
okay.
Like
Glock, how's it going, man? Welcome back.
Doing pretty well. Thanks for having me back. Appreciate it.
Yeah, man. Thanks for being here. Next up, we have Susie as a last-minute fill-in. So, Susie, thanks for being on here at the last minute. How's it going today, Susie?
Wonderful. Thanks for having me.
Glad that you're doing well. We're going to meet Susie a little bit more in a second here, guys, since it's her first time on the show. And last but not least is Veli TV. Vel, how's it going, man?
It's going swell, my dude. How about you?
Swell Vel, as usual?
Swell Vel.
Yep. All right.
Swell lot.
And I'm GreenChord. I'm the marketing media director for TRUgaming. Again, if you guys have not seen this show before, the way this works is the first 10 minutes or so, we're going to meet Susie a little bit. We'll go into news after that. So that's a lot of stuff like Ninja's situation, some frustration with Mixer, etc. And then the last hour and a half or so will be actually you guys can call in or submit questions in chat, and we will address them here on the show in a panel. So to start off with, though, I want to meet Susie a little bit. So Susie, can you tell us more about kind of how you got started on Twitch, your streaming career so far, and what you do?
Sure. Hi, guys. I'm Susie.
Hi.
I am actually currently a creative streamer. I started out as a variety streamer just a little bit over a year ago. I guess it's a year and a month or so. And I went from variety to streaming pretty much Overwatch all the time. And that was about it. But last summer, I discovered sculpting, and I introduced my community to sculpting and me sculpting, and they encouraged me to pursue it on Twitch. And here we are. Now I'm a full-time creative streamer, and I pretty much just sculpt.
Nice. And I think you're just going full-time as of now, right?
Yes, as of probably 2 weeks from now.
Okay, awesome. That's really cool. I know you and Vel talked a lot about that before, since Vel kind of took that step recently as well.
Yes, he peer pressured me into
it. Just had no choice there.
Yes.
Cool. So sculpting is mainly what you do now, but you have done Overwatch in the past. How long have you been on Twitch or so streaming?
Streaming since April of last year.
Okay, so a little bit over a year now you've been into it, and you recently got True Partner, so congrats on that. Happy to have you on the team.
Happy to be on the team.
Awesome. And you guys should know Vel and Glock pretty well. Glock is a primarily Realm Royale streamer. It was just telling us actually you have a pretty cool thing coming up too with the devs of that, right?
Oh, yeah. Next week, I have it set up with the community manager. We're gonna do a basic Q&A stream, where I'll be playing with the community manager, the 3D artist, and one of the animation designers. And people, as long as they're able to answer the questions legally, you can ask whatever you want. Process of how the game is made, what goes into creating new characters or new parts of the map, whatever. And the winner of the lobbies will actually get prizes like skin codes and stuff like that. So it's like an interactive thing with the community, while you can basically ask the devs anything you want.
Nice. That's pretty cool. Glad to see you're able to do that. I know that Realm Royale you've talked about in the past has sort of seen a fall off, but I guess it's coming back a little bit with custom servers and things. So that's really cool to see.
Oh yeah.
Cool. So I just want to meet you guys a little bit more, since you are still pretty new to the show, and you guys should know Vel at this point. Let's move on to the news here, which we do have a lot of this week. I'll jump into that first. The big thing, this feels like already old because it happened on Monday, but it was huge, so we still have to talk about it. This was the whole situation with Twitch and Ninja's page on Twitch. If you guys didn't see it, basically we talked about this last week. Twitch made a custom landing page for Ninja where it said this streamer is in our castle, and then it had a bunch of other recommended streams for you to watch instead. Again, that was only on Ninja's page this was done, but that had been happening for some time, and then I think on Monday or Sunday, probably Sunday, I think, there was this huge incident where for some reason there was a Fortnite channel that was streaming porn that got recommended as the #1 content on that page for Ninja. So basically Ninja's page was associated with that as if he was promoting it. So that was a huge thing. Ninja put out a tweet talking about how frustrated he was with that, and it was like the last straw for him. And then we saw a lot of outrage from other streamers and even the Twitch CEO responding, which that was particularly interesting. I'm going to link that in the chat if you guys have not read that. Basically, the Twitch CEO said that this was part of a bigger test they were doing with the site. They're testing recommended streams on multiple sites or multiple pages on the site. The problem was that for all that we can tell, it was just Ninja's page. So I kind of see that as a cop-out and somewhat of a lie, really. Like, yes, they have recommended stuff on the homepage, but that's been there forever. This is the first time we've seen actual recommended streams on someone's channel. And of course, it went bad in the worst way possible. Since then, again, a lot of other people have come out with their own responses. We saw stuff from Co-Carnage, Justin Wong, who used to be the VP of partnerships at Twitch, as well as OPG, who managed a lot of top streamers. So you guys, I'm sure, saw some of this situation. And actually, I know Vel was talking a little bit about this on his stream, some stuff he's been seeing going around. What are your thoughts on this?
I feel like people are really quick to point fingers at Twitch lately, to be honest. You know, like, it does suck that they're promoting other channels on Twitch's or on Ninja's old channel. But, you know, for getting mad at the porn specifically and like blaming Twitch for it, like, you guys are promoting, like, they're not like, it's not like they like found a porn channel and like, this is what we're going to show on Twitch's, you know, or on Ninja's page. Like, this will be a good idea. Let's really get to them. Like, I don't think they did it maliciously at all. You know what I mean? Like, people are just really quick to, you know, to point fingers at Twitch lately with all the stuff that's been happening. I don't agree that they should be, you know, advertising other streams on his channel because they don't do it for anybody else. But for this specific incident, I feel like people are just riding the anger wave at Twitch, and you know, like it's just become like almost a meme to get mad at Twitch lately. It feels like.
Yeah, that's fair. There's definitely been a lot of things like this happening lately, and it is a wave, like you said. Susie, do you have thoughts on this situation?
I think they tried to capitalize on the situation and it didn't go so well. That they were just trying to take advantage of the fact that they lost the biggest streamer they had. That, of course, people are going to still be going to his channel because not everybody's on Twitter. Not everybody knows that, hey, Ninja's gone. So, yeah, I think that they made a bad decision to do things when they did and try to take advantage of that.
Right. Glock, what are your thoughts?
I basically agree with Vel. I do think it is like a little trend right now where everyone decides like, oh, you know, Twitch this, Twitch that. And, you know, I don't know how many tweets I've seen lately of, I'm done with Twitch. I'm going to go move over to Mixer. I'm going to go move over to D Live. And, you know, that's fine. But like, I think they obviously didn't go out there and literally say, oh, let's advertise porn. You know, I think it was just, you know, I mean, it's not smart to actually sit there. I mean, I don't think it was smart to actually sit there and advertise other streamers, but you know, you lost your biggest streamer and you're trying to like say, hey, look at who else we got, guys. We have more people over here. Because I mean, you guys see the guy's Ninja's not even streaming on his channel anymore, and his chat still was going crazy. You know, people were on there, so I think they're trying to take credit for it, and they screwed up pretty bad. But you know, I do agree with Val. Everyone's riding that wave of Twitch's. Oh, they're getting mad at Twitch for everything.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely agree with you guys that there is, like I said, that wave happening where it's just thing after thing, whether it's the Alinity situation or this now or whatever. But I kind of do think that this is somewhat on Twitch. I think the worst part, in my opinion, is the fact that they're just doing this on Ninja's channel, or they were just doing it.
Right.
It's been reverted now, but they didn't make this choice with other channels, and that's been a continued source of frustration with Twitch. Is they kind of have double standards with things where they treat different cases differently. And I think what Susie said is right. Like, obviously there's a big chance to capitalize here. There's a lot of people going to that channel who see is offline and leave, right? So obviously from a business perspective, it makes sense to try and take advantage of that traffic and point them somewhere else on the site. The problem was, I think that was like a short-term kind of a greedy decision, and it backfired really hard when the porn got recommended. The other problem with that is that it was up there for 2 hours, that porn on the number one slot on Ninja's page. So that is just mind-boggling to me that I can be there for that long without being taken down. And yeah, I think ultimately, like, they might have gotten a little bit of short-term gain by having the recommended stuff up there, but I think they lost a lot of reputation and credibility in the long term by doing this. And again, they since have taken it down, which is good. But it's just a tricky situation, and there were some really kind of powerful tweets. So Co-Carnage, I always say Cone. His tweet had a line that said, "Twitch makes it clear they are just a platform," which I think was pretty powerful. A lot of people feeling that way, that Twitch is being very influenced by Amazon lately, and seems like they're just looking for a lot of traffic as opposed to, transparency, basically. But yeah, any other thoughts from that, guys, on this situation before we move on?
I was gonna say, the one thing I do want for Twitch from those situations is they do need to take more responsibility than they had to take, other than like, oh well, kind of like brush it off, and they didn't really fully take responsibility for it happening when it was their mistake.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not something to be like, that's it, I'm done, I'm going to Mixer.
Yeah, I mean, it won't really affect the majority of us, right? And
no,
honestly, most of us didn't see this happen. We just heard about it afterwards. I think there is particularly sensitivity around this because a lot of his audience are kids. So if there were kids going to that page and saw that, that's a lot of brand damage on Ninja. So I think that's why people got particularly upset. But
well, I think that's one thing Twitch forgot, that he does have a lot of kids on there and stuff like that, and and most of them probably went to his page. And if they, a lot of kids don't have access to social media, they do have access to Twitch, so they could be going there. Oh, see, Ninja's like, whoa, what is this?
Yeah.
So you're still damaging Ninja in the process, even if that wasn't, your intention.
It wasn't, but the problem is they've also had like these little petty jabs at him too.
Yep.
Whether that's the in another castle.
And I gotta say, Ninja, I think Ninja did his party ways actually very professionally. So them doing the little petty jabs is a bad look as well.
Yeah, I mean, Ninja definitely got the good end of this because now he's just in the right. Like, you can't really argue in terms of how he handled it. He didn't make any drama about it. He didn't say anything about Twitch until they gave him the perfect reason to do so.
Yep.
So that was good on his end, I think. Okay, so that was that situation. If you guys have thoughts on it, you want to call in, you're more than welcome to once we open that up. The next big piece of news was Discord launched server streaming this week. As of yesterday, I believe it's out. I'll post a link to that in the chat as well. Basically, what this is you'll be able to serve in... What the heck? I don't want to print that. You'll be able to stream in your server to up to 10 people in a voice chat. So you can join a voice chat with 10 people and one person can stream to everybody in basically real time. It's sub-second, which means less than a second. So I think that's actually better latency than even Mixer at this point. I'm not totally sure what the exact numbers are, but it's kind of a nifty idea. It's not going to replace Mixer or Twitch because it's limited to 10 people, but it is kind of cool that you can all be in a voice chat and be there real time. Some people are saying it's kind of the same thing as a Discord call anyway, but I guess they're trying to go for like a couch feel, so you can all kind of be hanging out in the voice chat together and come and go as you want, which I think is kind of nifty. I'm curious what you guys think of this feature. I don't know if you got a chance to look at it. Maybe Vel.
I didn't get too much of a chance to look into it. I mean, it seems cool for just like really small things. Like you said, it's not going to be anything to take over Twitch or Mixer or anything like that. But I can see it being fun, just to like, I know that one time I was playing some games with friends off stream, and some people wanted to hop in voice chat and just listen to, just the banter, I guess. And I guess this would be cool for those kind of situations where like you don't really want to do anything like to be streaming or whatever. Like there's no camera, there's no overlay or anything. It's just the gameplay. So if you're just trying to relax and play games, and some people do want to watch, I guess it would be a pretty thing to do.
Yeah, I think this could be really cool for making the Discord more exciting. Having ways to do that off stream. I think that is a great idea. Glock, do you have any thoughts on this?
I actually just found out about that this morning when I had the update. But like he says, it's obviously nothing's gonna take over Twitch or any other platforms. But it would be kind of cool, if like your friends want to watch you play a game. Like let's say you're 1v1ing a friend, you can stream it to whoever's in there, and they can talk crap as you smash your friend.
Yeah, I think I'm actually particularly excited about this feature because I have a lot of friends who are just basically doing that, right? They're in a voice chat playing games together, and they don't necessarily want to stream, but like they'd be cool probably with just sharing the screen with some buddies in the Discord. So I think that'll open up some cool opportunities to just hang out more like that together.
Imagine you're playing a game with somebody and someone has 2 monitors. You can leave their little stream on another screen, so you know exactly what they're talking about, what they see.
That's true.
Say, hey, there's a guy right there. Well, oh yeah, he is right there. Okay, cool.
That can be
it's a cool little concept,
Yeah, for sure. Susie, did you have a chance to look at this?
I did, and I've actually been kind of watching it because this would actually be something super useful for Patreon people. So you could have classes that are up to 10 people and just be streaming them, not have to put it on a sub-only stream or limit it to a private YouTube video. You could actually just have a one-on-one or a 10-on-1 session for your Patreon. I think it's a really neat feature for a lot of reasons, not for everybody for sure.
Yeah, the fact that it's limited to 10 is pretty restrictive at some point, but I think that's a great feature, whether you do it through Patreon or like a sub perk or something. Having just more things to offer people is really cool, and I think I'm really excited because, like I said, it's just more reason to be in the Discord, to be part of something special like that you can't get anywhere else. So I think you could do some cool things with that tool. So it went on gradual rollout yesterday. They said it's going to take a couple weeks to come out. I checked through my servers and it's only in, I think, 2 out of like 40 servers. So it's pretty small rollout so far, but I guess it'll eventually hit every server out there, in case you're wondering where it is. It's kind of interesting too, because it doesn't use a software. It's just you play a game and Discord, like it does now, can detect that you're playing that game. Then you have the option to stream it to your server. So again, there's not a lot of bells and whistles. Like Vel said, no camera, no, I guess it doesn't even really use your mic. You just use voice chat essentially. So it's kind of cool having those restrictions though, because then you don't have to worry about those things and it can be just more stripped down gameplay thing. So I'm excited to see what happens with it once it does roll out to everybody. Okay, on to some smaller news. First of all, you guys might have seen right after the Ninja situation, Twitch's over party was trending on Twitter for a while. People, like Vel said, were on that huge anti-Twitch wave for a little while, but I think it's died down since then. Also, some stuff getting picked up in Newsweek from Twitch now, and they have a funny little picture of a cat being thrown in that article, so they made that specifically for Twitch.
Weird.
Yeah. Another thing that was interesting this week, and not really interesting, just bad. There's a lot of bad links going around. Yeah, you guys might have gotten whispers, or apparently people are even making clips of streamers and then putting bad links in the title. So just be careful on Twitch this week. You might have seen a lot of spam stuff going around. Also Twitter, I saw a lot this week. So watch out for that, because I guess the way it works is you click on it once and then you become a bot account and spread to everybody else, and it's just this viral thing that hits everybody. So yikes. The last thing that was kind of bigger was a lot of people were complaining about the clothing requirements at Mixer, basically, because they're really specific on, you know, especially for female streamers, what you have to wear in this area, and it must be above this measurement and everything. I'll link that again here in the chat if you want to read it. It was mostly on Twitter this was happening, and I think the CEO did actually come out and make a statement about it. That's in that article if you want to read it. I'm curious if you guys have thoughts on that, or if maybe you saw it. I think this was closer to Sunday or Monday as well. Bill, any thoughts?
I mean, the only thing I really have to say is that, like, people, like, it's their platform, you know, so like if they have rules and you don't agree with them, like, quit complaining. like what are you really gonna do aside from just like complain about it a little bit and just whine? You know what I mean? Like, if you really want to change something, maybe you start a petition, or like, you know, like get like a whole group of people, you know what I mean, to like try to get something going instead of just being like, man, this really sucks. Like, cool, dude, let's move on.
Yeah.
Like, I can't stand people just complaining for the sake of complaining. Like, just deal with it or try to change it.
Susie, I'm actually kind of excited you're on for this topic because I always hate talking about topics that disproportionately affect female streamers when we have a whole male panel. So I'm curious your thoughts on this situation if you had a chance to look at it.
I read through every bit of the guidelines that Mixer has, and I compared them to the guidelines with Twitch. And Twitch is actually more against females in their guidelines than Mixer is, because Mixer's rules are very broad. They're all across the board. They're for male and female. They're not directed like Twitch's are. So I don't know what people think that they're seeing, but if you just look at the guidelines, you can see that one side is definitely targeted and the other one is just a broad sense of rule.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I haven't read through the Twitch section of this as much. I didn't see that comparison, but that's pretty interesting to hear. Glock, do you have any thoughts?
I actually agree with what Vel said. It's just something for people to complain about, honestly. Like, you know, people aren't even streaming on Mixer, sitting there complaining about it. I'm like, it's not even your platform. Why do you like, why are you like writing like 3 posts on Twitter about it? You don't even stream on the platform. It's just, it's just something I looked at it. I just kind of rolled my eyes and I'm like, yeah, I wear clothes, whatever.
Yeah, there was definitely a whole lot of overreaction. I saw people saying things like, I guess I have to wear a sweater vest then. And it's like, or a t-shirt, you know, you don't have to go that far. And actually, I want to read the statement from the Mixer CEO, because I thought it was kind of interesting. He said, Twitch has struggled with things like enforcement for a long time because it's a hard problem to solve. One of the things we did early on to try to get ahead of that stuff was making our rules of conduct as clear and objective as possible so that you know if you're doing something wrong. There's not really a gray area. If you look at our code of conduct as it relates to clothing, we outline the exact requirements in terms of clothing at each different rating on Mixer. That's just one of the things we do on the front to make it really clear, which I think is kind of a cool idea, just making it really specific, because I agree with what he said here. Twitch has had a lot of inconsistencies there and people kind of towing the line and people not knowing where the line is. So I think trying to have an intentional, very specific rule in that terms makes a lot of sense. Susie, you just waving or you have thoughts?
I was waving because they said hi in chat.
Okay. Cool. Well, anybody else have last thoughts on this one before we move on? Nope. All right.
Stop. I was gonna say stop complaining.
Yeah, that's the theme of the episode.
quit whining. QQ.
Shut up and do your thing.
Yeah. Okay, well, those are the big announcements for this week. If you guys think we missed something, please let us know and we can hit it. You can just ask in chat or call in. I want to start with one of our listener questions. Actually, before I do that, I should explain how to call in. If you type !calls in the chat, you can join the Discord server. Just join a voice chat and we'll add you as a friend and pull you onto the show to talk about whatever your topic is. It can be related to what we talked about this morning or something completely unrelated for your stream. Maybe you have questions about what game to stream or doing a rebrand. Anything you can think of, we'll be happy to talk about it. Just type !calls in the chat, or you can @TRUgaming in the chat and we'll also get the questions there. The first question comes from Discord, actually, from last week. That is from Cortez. I think I said that right. He said, thoughts on having background music on stream and a good source of stream-friendly music if you know of any? Pretty simple question. So do you guys all use background music in your streams at all? Anybody not use background music?
I try not to anymore.
Okay.
That's mostly for the YouTube videos. And honestly, I think using background music can kind of be a crutch for a while. You know what I mean? And like for me, like I want to try to talk as much as possible. And so if I have background music on, I talk a lot less because I'll just get caught up listening to the music. I mean, I've definitely like recently had a song on or two every once in a while, but I think it's better to just have no music on and just try to be as engaging as you can with your audience.
So it kind of just fills space for you that you don't have to fill if you have it on.
Right.
Gotcha. That's a good point. Susie, you do use music in most of your streams, it sounds like.
Oh, absolutely. If I wasn't, I would just be sitting there in silence. It would be the most awkward thing ever.
Do you try to go out of your way to use copyright safe music, or what's your policy there?
I do not.
Gotcha. I think that's probably the majority of streamers.
Yeah.
Do you have maybe any recommendations for people looking for copyright-free music or good resources there?
I haven't looked that much because I just enjoy the environment that familiar music provides. There are times
Mhm.
that I'll go and I'll listen to like instrumental music, which most of that is actually copyright free that I listen to, but most of the time people know the music that's playing. So
Yeah. Well, again, I mean, that is the majority of Twitch, right? Most people are not listening to copyright-free music, even today, years later. So you're not alone there. Glock, do you try to use copyright-free music, or are you kind of in the same situation?
Well, for a while, I had song requests on and stuff like that, and then I actually had my own playlist on Spotify, and then like Vel was saying with YouTube videos, it's very faint in the background, yet they still caught it.
Mm-hmm.
And but for people wondering about no copyright music, you can actually just find playlists on Spotify full of non-copyrighted music. You can like search the genre and stuff like that. But I've actually tried to steer away now recently from playing music, or copyrighted music and stuff like that. I'm trying to wean it out because also, like he said, like Vel said, I get caught up in like just listening to music, and then I'll stop talking because you're sitting there just playing and bobbing your head, and you're like, oh crap, hey guys, forgot you guys were here.
Yeah, I think that's a underrated value of not using music, right? Because it forces you to fill that space and makes you want to talk more. That's a good point. But the Spotify playlists are a great resource for people. There's a lot of like NCS type things where you just type copyright free, even like Twitch playlist, and you'll find stuff like that. You can also use something called Pretzel Rocks, which I've heard a lot about lately as being a very good similar resource for that. I actually don't know how that works. I know like Miss Hobo Slayer uses it for the True Partner show that just came out recently. So you can definitely look into that. You can also purchase licenses from people like Monster Cat. They have a license for streaming for Twitch music. So if that's something you want to do, you could easily do that. I think that there really hasn't been a huge push for not using copyrighted music lately, and you still see a ton of top streamers using copyrighted music. So I'm not saying that you should use copyrighted music, but I mean, it's just a tough situation because if you want to make sure you're crossing all your T's and dotting your I's, you should use it. But I think you'll probably be all right if you don't. Not endorsing it, just want to make that clear. But thank you for the question. That was, again, from Cortez. Check on the calls really quickly. I think we had one topic from the Early Bird Nerd. Okay. Thank you to Sestrio2 for giving us this, by the way. He said, I'm only able to stream twice a week, 3 hours each day. There are 2 games that I want to consistently start to stream. What's your advice for this? Giving each game their own separate day, splitting the stream in half, or only focusing on one game entirely to avoid playing 2 games? Interesting. So kind of like 3 options there. Either you split the days of each game completely, you kind of do half and half each day, or you only choose one game. So what would you guys say of those 3 options, Vel?
Oh man. I wouldn't do 2 games in one stream if you can only do 3 hours at a time. That's going to be, I don't think that's long enough to be in one directory. I don't think an hour and a half is long enough to, set yourself, apart from other people in that directory or anything. Cause like by the time the people know that you're streaming that game, you're already on to the next one. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I would say, I mean, if you really, really want to stream both games, I would do specific days for each one. But even then, I honestly don't recommend that. If you're only doing 2 days a week, I recommend just doing one game. Just that way you're known for that game and everything. And I think it'll be easier for you in the long run to do it that way. But that's just me.
Yeah, I think when we talk about all the time, that's just basically the most effective way to grow. Although you do have to consider what you can stand and what you're going to be okay with, because that will ultimately affect how much you can do it in the long term. So, Susie, what are your thoughts on this question?
I would definitely go separate days, even if you did the same game like 2 days in a row, and then switch, and maybe you could do 2 days in a row the other way. It's just sticking into who shows up during what days, because you can really notice if you sit there and you swap between games, you'll pick up on what audience comes on what days. and who doesn't. So I think it would be more beneficial to do full streams as one game rather than trying to switch in a stream.
Yeah, I think the benefit of doing 2 games could also be that you test the waters of each one and see which one responds better if you do want to kind of choose one to go for, or you can just do the 2 as long as you want to. But I definitely agree with you. I think that's going to give you more bang for your buck by dedicating a whole day to each game, essentially. Glock, what are your thoughts on this?
I think you do it, you know, the one thing you cannot do is if you only have like 3 hours, you cannot play both games an hour and a half. Like you're not going to spend the, I don't know if you guys can hear that in the background, but
maybe a little.
Yeah, I would not do 2 games in one day. Absolutely not.
Gotcha. Yeah, that sounds like a pretty good consensus there then. Definitely at least do 1 game each for each day, or you can try to go for 1 game. It's totally up to you. But thanks for the question, man. Hopefully it goes well, and keep us updated on how that turns out. Guys, I think we're pretty open on questions right now. There's been a couple cheese questions, like he's asking if everyone's getting the free games on the Epic Store, which I heard there's some good games there. And Danger Squaw asked how much Glock loves Bandpan. I don't know what that is.
With all my heart.
With all my heart. Okay, here's a real question from Heatom. He says, should they make a section for multi-game streamers, or should we just sit in just chatting? Okay, so you're talking about variety streamer, essentially. Should there be a dedicated variety section for streamers, or should you sit in something like just chatting? I don't know that either of those are the right answer. Val, what are your thoughts on this?
I don't really see a point to having a variety gaming or variety streaming channel directory. And I definitely don't think that just chatting is the way to go for that, because that's just chatting is not video games at all. That's just that it's just chatting. So yeah, I don't know. For variety streamers, I'm assuming you're looking for a way to get more like discoverability for variety streamers. I think it just comes with the territory that, you know, most of the time when you're a variety streamer, the ceiling can be a little low on the growth. And I think it just comes with it. I think there's just, you know, I think everything that you do on Twitch has its own individual like grind that you have to push through. And I don't really know a way to get, you know, more discoverability for variety streamers. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's tough now because the variety stream's been around forever, right? And it's always been in those game directories, so it'd be hard to make that transition at this point for sure.
Right.
Susie, you have thoughts on this?
I say put a variety tag in.
Is that already a thing?
I just looked and I don't see one unless it's multi.
Yeah, I don't see one either. Huh.
No, there's no variety tag.
That could be a cool idea. I still want the tag system to be used more, but I think adding more tags is always a cool feature. Cool. Glock, you have thoughts on this one?
I was ready to mention the variety tag. That's like the only thing I think they can really do about something like that. Variety streaming is already hard as it is, because when you jump around games and stuff like that, it's really hard. But
yeah, if
you have a tag in there, someone's looking for somebody that plays different stuff, then that kind of might help a little bit. But other than that,
yeah, I don't think you could do a variety directory, but I don't think you're really gonna find anybody in there. Like no one's gonna be looking in a variety directory.
No,
in my opinion.
Well, look at all the popular variety streamers. They all started maining one game, and then they started switching around games and stuff like that after they already have an audience or a following and stuff like that. They didn't start off just constantly switching games. They made their name known in one game. That's kind of how you start, being a variety streamer.
Absolutely. And I think it would be cool to see some other features maybe to support variety. Like one thing you see a lot of people requesting is a random stream button where you just take in to some random stream on the platform. I think supporting some sort of wildcard element on Twitch would be cool. Maybe it could just be a random directory where it just pulls a bunch of random channels. But I don't know that a variety directory is really going to help that much. But I also, on the second part of that question, I don't think you should be streaming and just chatting if you're streaming a bunch of games. Because, I mean, I think like you can technically get away with that if the game is kind of second to what you're doing. If you're just talking a lot and you have maybe the game in a corner or something that you're passively playing, but you don't want to be doing your standard variety streaming and just chatting, because that's not what that directory is for. But thanks for the question, man. And we got one next from King Robo, actually, who we used to be with True a little while ago. You see that nifty little True Twitch staff badge in there? I haven't actually seen it before. It's pretty cool. Said, for streamers that don't have any amazing rigs or setups, but still have no issues running the games they're playing, what would you choose to prioritize to improve your stream? Better webcam, better mic, better lighting, better overlays, etc. So basically, you can run the game fine. All your PC hardware is whatever. It's perfect. But you want to improve something about your stream. What would you guys choose? So basically, it's going to be something extra for your stream. That's like a luxury. It could be panels, whatever. Vel, what are your thoughts?
I would go with a mic. I know when people lurk or whatever, you know, like there's more like whether you're lurking or watching the stream actively, like the mic stands out above everything else pretty much. And, you know, I have a very nice mic and I get a lot of compliments on it. And I think it's one of the better things that I've invested in as a streamer. Especially like since your PC can handle your game, you know, good enough and everything's fine there. You know, like a camera will be nice in the future. Better panels, better lighting might help, but I think the microphone stands out a lot more than the other ones.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think if you're looking in this category specifically, I totally agree that the mic is, in my opinion, the best thing you can put your money into for your first upgrade. Susie, what are your thoughts?
I would say mic too. It definitely depends on what type of streamer you are. Because if you're somebody that is pulling a lot of attention in visually with plays and stuff like that, whereas like Veli's a lot more entertaining. You don't even have to watch him sometimes. You just like listen. Mic would be good for Veli. For somebody that is pulling somebody in more visually, I'd say overlays would be a good route to take. If you're already running smooth, then let it run smooth and make it look the best you can with what you have, and then you can work on upgrading from there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's especially pertinent to kind of your category of creative streams. If your whole stream is about showing something visually, then that definitely makes sense, right? Show it at the best rate that you can, best quality. Yes. Yep. Glock, what are your thoughts on this topic?
I would definitely go mic. I think mic is the most important thing, but you know, the second thing, absolutely, you know, after mic is for me personally is webcam. I like seeing people's reactions and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, webcam is pretty good as well. I think one thing I love about microphones is you can get really good bang for your buck compared to webcams and cameras. Like to get a top tier microphone, like Vel's microphone, for example, that's maybe like a $400 investment. Whereas to get a really top tier camera, that's going to cost, you know, it's going to involve a DSLR, capture card. That's going to put you way higher up at like 800 to 1,000. So I think you can make kind of an end game investment in your microphone reasonably early compared to other parts of your setup, like overlays and cameras and things. So that's what I would recommend. King Robo, thanks for the question, dude. Good to see you back here as well. Hope you're doing well, man. Next question comes from Master Fweed. Mr. Fwide? I don't know how to say that. Fwide, okay.
Yep.
Says, how does one find good chat mods? Good question. Vel, what are your tips on finding good mods?
Well, okay, so Susie was actually one of my very first mods. She was in the channel a lot and hung out and kind of knew what I wanted with the channel, you know, the rules that I had and everything, and understood them. And so basically you just find people that watch your stream on a regular basis, and people that understand you and understand where you're trying to go with the channel. And at first you can be a little bit more lenient with that kind of stuff, because like it is really helpful to have a mod there. But I would say if you're going for like a top tier mod, it's somebody that's there a lot, because you don't want a mod to come around and then have regular viewers who aren't mods be like, who is this person and why are they modded? It's kind of a bad look. So I would go with somebody who's been sticking around and just somebody who understands, you know, your roles, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha. So Susie, as a endorsed good mod, what are your tips on finding good mods on Twitch?
I would say don't pick somebody that ever makes you feel like they don't understand why you hold the values that you hold. If you are against people talking a certain way and that person doesn't agree with you, that's not a good choice for a mod. When you go into you're interacting with as many people as somebody interacts with, you have to know without question what that person feels about how people talk, things that they say, how they joke around. You need to know if that's going to be okay with them or if it's not. And if you can't trust somebody to understand your views on it, then I don't think you should mod them.
Hmm. Yeah.
So look for somebody you can trust and who you can relate to in the same views on morals and humor and stuff like that.
Right. Someone who's going to make the same decisions you would, essentially, on how to deal with people in your chat, so that you're not dealing with these situations where they banned someone that you wouldn't have banned, or they're doing the opposite, not banning someone that should be banned. I mean, that makes sense. Glock, I want to throw this to you and add on another question. Do you think this process changes as you grow? So when you're starting for the first time as a streamer, finding your first mods versus maybe, a year or two down the road, you've grown a little bit, and does that process change in choosing mods?
I don't think it changes. I think when someone's there every day and they kind of, like you said, like they said, know your goals and stuff like that, and they know what's okay in chat, they know what's not okay in chat, what you can and can't say. Just like, well, one thing that's going on right now with people in my chat, people ask, don't, first of all, if people want mod, don't ask for mod. It's like the most awkward situation ever when you had to turn somebody down for it. It's like, well, babe, I think having too many mods can actually make your channel look bad too. Like, everyone has a green sword in your chat, like, hey, I respect you for being every day. I thank you for being every day, but we have like 4 mods, guys. Like, we don't need that many people. But I think the process doesn't change with who knows your goals, who's loyal, who's there all the time. I think, like Vel said, like, when people go, who's this guy? Like, if people don't know who it is, it's bad luck as well.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
But I think it stays consistent, from the beginning to a couple of years after.
Gotcha. Yeah, I think I would add in there that in my experience, it's a little bit of trial and error. Like, you're not going to know who's a great mod right away, especially if you're new to streaming and you haven't had people in there for a while. It's going to take some kind of, maybe you can give a mod and see if they stick around, see if they do a good job. Obviously, you don't want to give mod to anybody who's just going to wreak havoc on your chat. But if someone you think maybe could turn out to be a good mod, you can always give it to them and see if it turns out well. So that's what I would just add in there. Anybody else have any last minute thoughts on this?
Don't be afraid to unmod somebody.
Yes.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, especially, it could be a long time mod too. We've seen that happen before, where someone's been modding for years even, and eventually maybe they get a little bit cocky with that situation and do things that you really don't want them to be doing, but they feel like they can get away with it, or just maybe a little egotistical about it. That's a tough situation, but you have to take a stand on that. Just like a bad viewer, right? You can't let the one person ruin the experience for everybody else. And it's no different from mods.
Cut the fat.
What?
Cut the fat.
Cut the fat.
Get it out.
Get it out. All right. Let me read through some more questions here. Remember, guys, if you want to have a question on the show, make sure you tag at TRUgaming so I see it. Actually, we have a caller. Chef Monkey is going to call in.
Ooh.
So, I don't know. I guess he's not been on the show before, but I do recognize the name. So let me go ahead and add Chef Monkey onto the show, as long as he will accept my friend request. Chef, there we go. Perfect. Nice and quick. And his logo is a monkey chef. Oh, what's happening? See spam joining. I don't know what's happening right now. All right, we're gonna
get him out of here.
Let's remove him for a second. Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on there. That seems like maybe a technical issue. I'm gonna try to add him one more. Oops, you need to pick that back up there, Vince. I'm gonna try to add him one more time here. Maybe it was just a temporary issue. We'll see if it works. Chef, hello. Chef. Anybody else there? Vel?
I can hear
I'm
you.
here.
I lost you on the screen for a second. So, Chef, did I hear? No, he says he's in the call, but I can't hear him at all. All right, Chef. Last call. I see your picture now. Still can't hear anything. Okay. All right, Chef, I'm going to give you a second. I'll remove you from the call for now, see if you can get your mic issues fixed, and we will bring you back on in just a second. We have another question from, I think, Sestriuto. Said, I just watched Britwolf just chatting, reading Beowulf. I want to go that direction, reading some days and gaming other days. What are your suggestions for variety gaming / reading? Example, should a reading stream still be around 3 hours like a gaming day? Interesting. I don't know if any of you guys have done reading on stream before, or maybe have seen people do reading before. What are your thoughts on reading? I do want to add a disclaimer. Last time we talked about this, somebody brought up the fact that sometimes you shouldn't be reading stuff like that. Now, Beowulf is like a classic, so it's probably not copyrighted, but a lot of books are copyrighted, so they're not, just like music, right? You can't read it on the stream, technically, and you could, but shouldn't be doing that. But I guess for Vel, what are your thoughts on if you were to stream reading, or someone who is doing that? What tips would you give them?
Definitely do it in different voices and be as loud as you can. Like, don't just like, oh, the duck was in the water or whatever. Like if you don't make it boring. Like, don't make it boring, because you can read and sound real boring and real lame real fast. So you better bring that energy, my dude, or else, like, if I show up to that stream, I swear to God, I'm sleeping. Like,
yeah.
Oh my God, just be loud.
Maybe there's an audience for that though.
Maybe
know.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I usually just take a nap when I want to take a nap.
I just love the fact that you used the duck was in the water.
That's the first thing that my dumb brain could come up with. It was nice and real boring.
Sure. Susie, you have thoughts on reading streams?
I think it would be really neat, like, if you have a really, like Britwolf, he has a great voice. And it would be really neat if you had like a character voice.
Mm-hmm.
But I think if you did it for very long, it would probably get pretty exhausting. I actually, with my husband, we read Ready Player One aloud to each other because we had one copy of the book and we were broke as crap. So we didn't want to get another book. So we read it aloud to each other, and it was exhausting doing that. I can't imagine doing it on stream where like every so many pages you stop and try to chat with people, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But I know there's an audience for it.
Yeah,
sure.
There definitely is. It seems tough to me because I don't think it'd be that interactive unless you're doing some sort of like choose your own adventure thing with the chat. I don't know. That'd be kind of funny.
That would be really fun. But having a book club that's
true.
Live interactive would actually be really amazing.
That's kind of interesting. I haven't seen a live stream. Fel's like, get it out of here. It's like, I'm quitting Twitch if I see someone stream this.
Yeah, I'm switching to Mixer, okay?
Not you.
Twitch's fault.
Glock, you have thoughts on reading streams, man?
I mean, I'm not into it, but I do have a good buddy of mine that does do. He has a character that he does once a week. It's like he paints his face like a clown, and it's like. Yeah, from what he calls it, it's like his inner self coming out, whatever. But he does reading streams, but he reads very odd books. Let's just go with that. Like, they're almost like exotic book kind of stuff, but it's like it's weird. It's very weird. He read a cookbook. It's literally a cookbook, but it sounded erotic. It's very weird. Very weird, dude. But I tuned in for like 2 minutes. I'm like, what are we discussing here? And he goes, cooking. And then like you put two and two together, like, oh my gosh. Now that was funny. When you realize what's going on, I was dying. But at first I was like, what?
Unique content, man, I guess.
Dude, it was
gotta stand out.
You tune into a clown reading a cookbook, but it sounds erotic. It was that's interesting.
I can honestly say
I'll donate you a copy of the book.
I can honestly say I've never seen something like that on Twitch in all my years. So.
No, it's new.
My mind is racing with what an erotic cookbook could be.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I actually Amazon wish list, though. I'll buy it for you.
There you go.
As long as you stream it, dude.
Dude, new cooking streams taking the next level. You can actually do the cooking. Yeah.
Dude, I'm telling you, it's different, but I mean, I would never. I mean, I barely read it. It is so.
All right. Well, hopefully that was a productive conversation for you, friend, for asking that question. Definitely, I mean, give it a try. I think reading streams are actually pretty cool if you can make it work. It's definitely not for everybody, like we've made clear in this panel, but it's worth trying, I think. Okay, so Chef Monkey should be good to go now, hopefully. I'm going to try re-adding him and see if it will cooperate this time. So we're about to find out. Mr. Chef Monkey. It's ringing. Oh, Chef, you there? Still not hearing anything. Give you a couple more seconds here. Mr. Chef, the video's still loading as well, so I think it's not just audio. I don't know, man. I can't hear anything. I'm sorry. You are always free to just ask your question in the chat, though. If you can't get video to work, we can definitely still talk about it. So sorry about that, but I'll remove you for now. Calls are wide open, though, guys. I promise they do work if you have a working mic, so you're more than welcome to join. All good, though, Chef. I saw another question from Heedham, which is a parent's question. He said, how do you guys feel about streamers who are parents needing to take pit stops in a stream, like to feed the kids or change them or whatever? I'll throw this to, well, we have two parents here today. Glock, I'll start with you actually this time. What are your thoughts on either being a parent or streams that have to deal with that situation?
My wife is a queen. She takes care of all that. Okay. But I mean, like, I mean, if anyone can't understand, like, usually I don't stream until the kids are sleeping, usually. Except for like right now, they just woke up. But you know, she has them. But I mean, if you're a parent and you know your audience should understand that, hey, be right back. I gotta go you gotta take care of this. Give me a second. I mean, if you don't respect that, I mean, that's just kind of wrong. But I mean, I've seen people leave for a couple of minutes and then come back because they had to go change their kid or help out with something. It happens, you know. Mm-hmm. You know, you shouldn't feel bad about it if you're a parent streamer at all.
Right, dealing with that situation. One thing I have seen is that it's kind of interesting how the viewers of parent streamers tend to kind of, sorry, my thing's cutting out here. If you are a streamer who has kids and you involve them in your stream or you're taking care of them, you tend to see a lot of viewers who are in the same situation who are also parents. I've just seen an interesting combination there. So that's something to think about. Like, and I think that what you said is right. Viewers should understand that that's your situation and they should support that, essentially. You shouldn't worry.
You're a parent first before you're a streamer.
Right, and viewers should respect that, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, no viewer wants to see someone ignoring their kid to stream, ideally. Susie, what are your thoughts on this? Yeah.
I think it's not even something you should think about.
Mm-hmm.
You know that you need to take care of your kids. Everybody knows that people need to take care of kids. I don't stream until the kids are in bed, but that just like when my kids have ran up to me right now, I make sure they're okay and know what they're doing. It happens.
Mm-hmm.
Don't worry about it. You know, if you need to step away, then step away and don't feel bad about it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm one of those non-forgiving people. You know, I don't care what you think. Okay.
Right.
I'll be right back.
But you do still kind of take steps to make it a good viewing experience for people too, like just muting the mic, or maybe you have a screen ready for that for if you have to step away suddenly. I think there's a combination there of, you know, definitely take care of your kids first, but also do what you can to make it a good experience for people watching the stream. I think that's
Absolutely. Fair. I put a sticker up on my screen.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Val, you have any thoughts on this?
When I do take care of the kids that I don't have, what I'm usually doing is like I'll throw up a video or something if I had to step away from the stream at all. So like I know like GreenChord makes videos for me. Obviously, most of you guys know that, and so I have them just on my stream deck. So if I need to step away for a minute, I have shorter videos. If I need to step away for a few minutes, I now have a longer video that I can play, and that way people aren't just staring at a chair the whole time. And it's not a be right back screen either, because I kind of have a thing against those. So.
Gotcha. So your kids are being the chat in this situation.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Basically, that's what chat is. Yeah. Cool. Well, thanks for the question, Heedham. I appreciate that, man. Next question, I'm going to read through here, is from Sahil Killer TV. I think that's how I say that.
Sahil Killer.
Sahil Killer, okay. Any tips on how to make videos out of streams for YouTube? Okay, so
hey,
Vel,
actually, that's my YouTube editor. I don't know why you're asking that. You should know that.
Okay, well, I think it is still a good question for people.
No, it's a good question.
Okay, I thought it was to Vel first because you were just talking about YouTube and taking some stream stuff. So what kind of tips do you have on that?
So I'm not really too great at Siege, but like sometimes I pull out some nice kills. So I'll make sure, you know, either I clip it later or I try to ask if chat can clip it for me. And you know, they get a shout out at the end of the video whenever that's released. So like whatever clips make into the video, they get a shout out. So it gives a good incentive for people to clip for you. Also try to come up with, you know, just like meme things that you can, you know, kind of keep trending in all your videos. Like, you know, if I throw C4 at somebody in Siege, you know, like it's usually like a Twitch Prime kill or something like that. You know, just something meme that people can, you know, can kind of recognize throughout all of your videos. That way it has like a somewhat of a trend, I guess, and people, you know, hopefully think that it's funny.
Gotcha. So you're incentivizing people to record those clips for you so it saves you time later on.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Glock, this is your editor, so clearly you're doing your YouTube a good amount. What kind of thoughts do you have on this topic?
Well, you mean like for him or for streamers?
Well, I think for streamers is kind of the question generally.
So basically, like the way I do it with Sahil is usually I have chat clip or I have a stream deck which has a clip button on it, which is very useful if anyone doesn't have a stream deck. Literally just hit one button and it clips like the last 30 seconds for you. And at the end of my streams, I download them and then I upload them to Google Drive and I send them over to Sahil, and he just makes me look way better than I actually am. So he is a great YouTube editor, 100%. But you know, having someone actually, I have I don't really want to self-promote, but I have a little series going on YouTube called Streamers Reactions. So whenever I kill someone with TTV in their name, I actually have a person in my chat who will actually go to that person's channel, clip their reactions, and send it to me. And so I actually have someone, and it wasn't something I meant to start. It's just kind of started, and people like it. So
people love streamer react just in that whole category, so that makes sense.
Yeah, and like it's one of the things where I make sure I say that's, you know, those there's nothing disrespectful at all. Like there has been some toxic clips that I have not put in there because people got a little too upset. I don't want to put that image of them out there. But if you know, funny reactions, stuff like that, I'll put it in there. And usually the person knows they're in there as well. Yeah, I know the people, so
yeah, that's probably a good opportunity for collaborating too, like a good kind of segue into there.
Well, usually they end up in a video, and then we, you know, hey, I'll play some duos with you just so you won't get mad at me.
That's cool. Then I'll be on the good side of the video that time. So last little thing here for you then, how did you find your editor? How'd that process go about?
In Realm Royale, there's people that take, you've seen the highlight reels on YouTube where people like just take collectively clips from every day and they make a video per day, you know, with everybody's clips. That's what Sahil used to do. And then actually one day he approached me and actually asked me if I need like a montage made. And I was like, sure, actually I would love that. I have like thousands of clips that, you know, we can use. And then he made me the first video. It was absolutely amazing. And then they kind of like we basically had a discussion and basically you know, said, hey, let's do at least like one a week, and that's basically where we're at right now. So
nice.
I
think finding an editor can be kind of tricky for people, especially a good editor they're comfortable with. One thing I want to mention is I'm actually in a server that's a Discord server that's all for editing, and it's just basically a bunch of editors are in there, and you can go in there and ask for a job to be done. So I actually can't invite people to that for some reason, but it's out there if you guys want to find servers like that. And obviously like peer connections is good. If you know somebody who has a good editor, you can go that way or however that works. But I think YouTube is super big, and I'm glad that you guys are taking advantage of that. Susie, I'm actually not totally sure if you do YouTube. What's your status with YouTube?
I have one video. I did a cast of a piece that I had molded. It's actually the Cthulhu piece that I did for another true partner, Impending Death. But I plan to do time-lapse videos in the future. It's just something that I have to finish a project and actually save all of the sculpt time. It's really exhausting and takes a long time.
So are you going to edit that yourself or have someone else do that?
Considering it's probably going to be a lot, I'll probably pay somebody to do it.
Gotcha. Yeah, makes sense. I think starting with YouTube with that can be tricky, you know, to get rolling. So that makes sense. One thing I do want to add on here is that there are ways you can kind of multitask streaming and YouTube content. One thing that I used to do a while back was do like match commentaries where you hit record at the same time that you're streaming on Twitch, and for like however long your game is, you just do a running commentary of the game, and then stop it after you're done, and you have a perfect content for YouTube. You see a lot of big streamers doing this. I'm familiar with the League of Legends directory. A lot of people will do that in the League directory, whether that's a game review or a patch rundown or anything. So that's a good way if you don't have a lot of time, if you don't want to pay an editor, you can actually just record something yourself on stream with minimal editing and throw it on YouTube, and it can work pretty well. So I just want to throw that out there. Any other tips for YouTube from you guys that you have thoughts on? No.
No.
What?
I was just gonna say one thing I have noticed that has helped is just stay consistent with it. Like that, like at first I was only putting like one up there a month and nothing really happened, and now we do one, sometimes two a week. And like you just said, when you're talking about hitting record and stuff like that, so he actually came out with a great idea where some are montages, and like you said, some are gameplay, like some solo squad games, some high kill solo games. Like people like watching that, a full game, which just with like limited editing, and you can actually see like how you play the game, not just highlights of crazy plays. So like that's actually a good tip for people. So because people actually really enjoy watching full on gameplay.
Yeah, I mean, you get surprised by a lot of times more editing does not equal a better video.
Exactly.
Like, so if you guys saw the tier list series I did a while back, I did 2 tier lists. One was very edited, and I like jump cut it and talked a lot about the games you should be playing. One was just a straight stream rip for about half an hour, me talking about games. And that one did a lot better than the one that got edited. So just as an interesting example that a lot of times people want to see a straight rip from stream. I mean, you see all those things on YouTube now of, this streamer reacts to this video, right? And that's just like a straight 20-minute clip, no editing. So I think you should definitely be taking advantage of that. If you are a Twitch streamer, you should just learn a little bit about the algorithm for YouTube and what it will pick up, and immediately you'll see results there. So cool. Thanks for the question, man. You have any specific thoughts for him, Glock, as the editor for you?
I love you.
That is all. Gotcha. All right, let's move on to the next question. Scrolling through here now. Okay, Robu wants to know Vel's opinion about the BRB screen. Why do you hate BRB screens, Vel?
Okay, so the reason why I don't like BRB screens is because when people are looking for a streamer to watch and they're in a certain directory, if you don't really get to choose the thumbnail that gets shown off in that directory. So if it happens to be a Be Right Back screen, like I know 100% I'm not going to click on a Be Right Back screen, because I don't want to go into a stream and wait when I don't even know who the person is. So I like to at least have a chair up or something that way, like, because if you have a Be Right Back screen up, like who knows how long you'll be gone. And if it's just a chair, you might be just gone for like a quick second, you know what I mean? But I think it makes a huge difference on the, like, when you just see it through a thumbnail. I think it makes a huge difference.
Yeah, I mean, we always talk about like you have those few seconds to grab someone's attention. And how often do you actually come into a BRB screen stream and stick around for more than like 3 seconds? I personally don't. Whereas like a video might actually keep me there for a bit longer until the person gets back. So I think that's a fair point. Okay, next question comes from Chef Monkey. Again, he's the guy who's trying to call in. He couldn't get his mic to work, so I'm going to read off his question here now. He said, I'm in a limbo with my stream. I've just been absent for a while, but I kind of have a reset available to me. A lot of my community is around, takes an interest in my family as a whole as we all play games. Okay, this is asking if my stepson/daughter and wife stream too. Oh, they're asking, as occasionally they play on stream. So I was thinking about making my channel our family channel where we all stream on, as people have been asking. However, if we all are playing a game, my computer can't handle more than one capture card. Obviously, it would be fine when we were playing party games. We're all on one screen. I'm debating with a permanent move to Mixer as well. We could utilize the co-streaming that's built into the platform, as squad streaming isn't available for Twitch affiliates yet. I'm just reading through is this a good idea, basically? I've yet to find the whole streaming family. They're streaming couples and stuff, but people occasionally playing with their kids. Is that a gap in the market? Okay, interesting. So kind of, I guess the main question here is, what do you guys think of a channel that is a family channel where you have different members of the family streaming the same channel, either, you know, separately or all together at the same time? I'll throw this to Vel. Go ahead, Glock, actually.
I was gonna say, so you're asking like where like basically they could be streaming different time slots, you know, and then
It sounds like he wants a combination of that where you kind of have rotating
and then sometimes
shifts.
have them all.
Yeah, like a big collab.
That's actually kind of interesting. I mean, I know a couple people who like. There's a channel that, you know, I know because the son follows me. I've checked him out. The kid streams at night, and then the dad's on there during the days. It's pretty much on all the time. But like having, you know, 4 different people on there and stuff like that, having a schedule and stuff like that, I mean, it'll work. But I mean, I can see some jealousy going on when one person's getting 20 viewers and the other one's getting 5. Like,
Inside the family.
You know, it's just, why do you have more viewers than I do? I don't know. I'm more entertaining. What's up?
That could be kind of funny though, you know. I mean, that could be kind of, add even more attention.
You know, the thing with Twitch, you try or Mixer, whatever you want to go to, you capture people's attention. You know, you be different, and it's different. So why not give it a shot?
Fair enough. Susie, what are your thoughts on a family streaming channel?
I think it's a really neat idea. I don't see it a lot on Twitch. There's a lot of it on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
And they run into a lot of problems with censorship. And I don't know how different the censorship would be on Twitch compared to something like YouTube. So there's a lot of issues with when you do have an adult and a minor and you're broadcasting. There are things that you can't say, and I encourage you to research that before you commit to doing something like that. But I think it's a great idea. I think families would love it. It would be a family-friendly stream, and everybody needs more family-friendly streams, right?
Yeah, I think what you said is what I was thinking of as well. There's a lot of YouTubers who do this, YouTube channels, where it's just a family channel basically, and maybe you have like one person is kind of the main face of the channel or the director, but the whole family is involved often in the content. So I definitely think it could work with Twitch, and I like how you have a lot of ideas on it too, like whether that's individual shifts or all streaming at once. It's pretty interesting. Val, what are your thoughts?
So I will throw in, Chef Monkey said that all of their kids are 18 or older. So that kind of changes things up a little bit. But I mean, if it's something that you want to do, and people are asking you to go through with it, I think that'd be awesome. I would say, like, don't do things just because people are asking. Like if you're not 100% comfortable with it, because it is a really different thing, and it's if it's something that you're not like 100% sold on doing, that you don't think would work, then don't worry so much about what other people are doing. I'm not trying to like keep you from doing it or anything. I'm just trying to play like what if you don't want to do this, but people are telling you to. Just do whatever you think you will have fun with on stream, regardless of whether or not people are asking you to do it. You know what I mean? But if it is something that you want to do and people are asking you, then I think it's a really great idea, and it will set you apart for sure. And it could be like a family friendly thing, like everybody here is saying. It could be really, really cool, very different. I would say if you're up for it, I would give it a shot.
Yeah, I mean, that is a good point too. You should definitely make sure that you want to do it and not just like you have to because people are asking for it.
Yeah,
that makes sense. Cool. Well, Chef, if you have anything else to add to that, let us know in the chat. We can talk more about that, but it sounds like we all think it's a good idea, so just go for it, man, if you're up for it. All right, next question, reading through here, I think it's from CJ Wolverine Gaming. It says, I'm trying to grow my audiences. How does the panel feel about utilizing YouTube to generate a much less needy audience, which I can then migrate to Twitch or Mixer? Interesting. So less needy? I'm not sure exactly what he means there. I guess there's less interaction and it's more just like spit out content and you consume it is all I can think of. But if you want to clarify that, CJ, please go ahead. But in general, what do you guys think about taking YouTube, an audience, and moving them to a platform like Twitch and Mixer? Because that's something that a lot of people deal with. Glock, since you've been doing YouTube for a little while now, do you have thoughts on this?
I mean, I think if you want to move them from YouTube to Twitch, I think he's talking about live streaming on YouTube.
Oh yeah, that is a great point. Actually, he says with Twitch, if I'm not live or sticking to my schedule, I lose viewers.
There you go. That's any platform. That's any platform. If you have a schedule, you're not sticking to it. People are gonna, go. They expect you on a certain time, and if you're not sticking to your schedule, at least updating your viewers and stuff like that, it's gonna make them go find somebody else. It happens. But trying to get them to move, you basically just gotta make an announcement like, "Hey, I'm gonna try it out on here. I'm gonna be over here." There's a lot of movement right now in streaming and stuff like that. So there's a lot of people moving. So you might end up losing to people, and that's something you gotta be prepared for if you really want to move to another platform.
Yeah, I mean, moving platforms anywhere is always tricky. It's because people just like the platforms they're on, so that's always hard. I like that he mentioned the schedule portion because while it is definitely still important to keep a schedule on YouTube as well, the difference is you can pre-record content, shoot it out, as opposed to Twitch or Mixer. Like you have to be sitting there at your computer streaming that each day. You can't schedule something out a week. You'll see a lot of YouTubers will go on vacation for a couple weeks and have videos scheduled to go out during that time. With Twitch, you can't really do that. So I think that is the benefit of YouTube.
Well, you can do reruns on Twitch, but I mean, no offense, no one really watches reruns because the whole thing with live streaming is interacting with the streamer, and no one really watches reruns. I mean, I've gone there before, and I didn't know what reruns were at the time. I tried typing. I'm like, why don't you answer my question, dude?
Exactly. I think that's actually a huge chunk of people who watch reruns. They don't realize it's not live.
Yeah,
and that just feels kind of bad.
Ignored.
Yeah, and you see people even like give subscriptions and stuff during reruns and they get no notifications, and I don't know, it's not the way to go in my opinion. Vel, I'll throw this to you next, since again you've been doing YouTube for a bit now. You have thoughts on converting your audience over from YouTube to Twitch?
I would say if you don't really have a Twitch audience, like you might want to look into streaming on YouTube. You know what I mean? Like as much as I like Twitch and everything, like for you as a content creator, it might work better to just stick with YouTube. I mean, you can keep do what you do. Like if you don't want to stream on YouTube, like more power to you. But it is going to be more difficult. It's definitely going to be more difficult to bring the people over from YouTube to Twitch. But I would definitely make sure that you keep the same name across both platforms. It's like there's somebody that I follow on or that I subscribe to on YouTube, and I tried looking up their YouTube name on Twitch, and that didn't show up. And then I had to go digging for their Twitch information, which is kind of it's kind of a bummer. You know what I mean? When I have to work to find you and support you on other platforms. So,
yeah, I think so. I follow a lot of people who do YouTube content who also stream. And it's such a range of, some guys have pretty decent YouTube followings, but you go to their Twitch and there's no one ever there.
Right.
And some people do a semi-decent job. You're always going to lose people going from YouTube to Twitch. I mean, just like we always say, you can't convert everyone, but there are ways to do it better in terms of maybe how you mention it during your videos. Maybe some people are just really good at dropping their stream at the right time during the video and giving a strong reason to come watch it. Maybe you have a giveaway going on or something, or some incentive for you to come over from YouTube to Twitch. If you can give that a strong incentive, you can do that way. I also think that you brought up a good point with YouTube live streaming, because someone posted in the StreamKey Discord today, Caldor posted this video from Devin Nash, and he was talking about how great YouTube streaming can be right now, because YouTube's been really growing pretty hard recently, and it kind of gets slept on as a streaming platform for gaming. So I think that's worth considering, especially if you have a YouTube audience, because you will see a lot of people who make YouTube content are starting to stream now and getting pretty decent viewership. So it's not worth dropping. Susie, do you have thoughts on this topic?
I've never done anything like it, but I preach branding quite often, and I'd say make sure your branding is familiar.
I don't mean to interrupt you. I want to transition a little bit here, because you do a lot of Instagram. Is that correct?
I do, yes.
Okay. So same kind of process though. How do you move people from Instagram, YouTube to your actual stream?
I'm not sure that I do. Most people that follow my Instagram are people that followed while I was streaming. So I'm not quite sure how to look into the numbers the correct way to figure out what I'm doing and if it's working. But I do, at least once a week, I make sure and I plug my stream. And right now I'm currently on a schedule break till my kids start school. I still make sure that I bring up that I do stream. I make sure that it's in my profile and it's clear that I am a content creator of some kind, you know. That's all I can do. So I take selfies with my stuff and it, you know,
Yeah. I think also you don't necessarily need to move people over from a platform as opposed to just growing on different platforms at the same time. I think you should really, like, we always push for that here too. Try to be a content creator beyond just one platform. So beyond just Twitch, you can also think of yourself as a YouTuber or as an Instagram influencer. So I think it's important to grow a following on all those platforms that you can, so that you're kind of diversifying, and that way you're not so tied to one platform that if it fails, you're just out of luck in that instance. That's a good point. I do want to read off a couple of alerts here. DJ Sam Caps, thanks for resubbing for 5 months, man. Appreciate you. Bandpan gave 1,000 bits, said Glock in all caps. So thank you guys for supporting the show and all we do here. The next question, we have a lot of questions, guys. Thanks for asking all these. Next one is from Danger Squaw, I think. Yeah, Danger Squaw. I said, what is something that I can do to try and captivate people and keep audience in my stream? I'm trying to find new ways to keep people interested in staying in the stream. Interesting. So, Vel, what are your thoughts on grabbing people's attention when they come in and making them want to stick around?
For me, what I relied on, because I had a really long time of, you know, wondering how to do this, and what it came down to for me was just trying to like be as energetic as I could, as loud as I could, you know, just trying to be myself, but be way louder about it. You know what I mean? So like if something happened, like I did this a lot during The Witcher 3, and The Witcher 3 is kind of a difficult game to stream because there's so much like nothing that can happen. So like when something does happen, you have to work on your reactions to it, or else people are just going to get bored because, you know, they're listening to the same dialogue, or they're listening to dialogue over and over again. And, you know, then you have to go like walk for 30 minutes to get to the next area or whatever. So like, you know, just trying to work on your reactions and expressing that, like, and showing that you're having fun. Like, make sure you're smiling is huge, because like you could be having the time of your life playing a game, but if you're not like visibly like enjoying the game, people are going to think that you're bored. So try to smile, be loud, you know, be energetic, and, you know, work on those reactions when things do happen in the game. It'll keep people kind of, you know, targeted in watching your stream.
Right. And that's something that I'm sure, like you said, you had to develop over time, right? It wasn't very natural.
It's really hard.
Right. But I mean, it is really, like you said, very important, because that will instantly grab someone's attention if they see a strong reaction to something.
Right.
Cool. Susie, you have thoughts on captivating people?
Be a meme.
That's it.
That's it. I don't know why people come to my stream, to be honest, but I love hanging out with you guys.
Well, so Danger Squall also wants to talk about creative stuff, so I'm interested if you have any particular thoughts for interesting people in the creative section when they come into a stream.
I just always try to stay welcome. To be welcoming, even across the board. I try not to overhype anybody that comes in the chat, because I want everybody to feel like they're all here, and I am giving everybody the same amount of attention. I make sure and I ask people questions, you know, how'd you find us? Are you into whatever I'm doing? And try to keep them involved in the conversation. It's not always easy. Most of my viewers are actually across the board gamers, you know. I'm surprised that I have as big of a creative following that I do, because usually anybody that's in my chat is a gamer, is one of my friends. So it's easy to sit and talk to them. Sometimes it's more challenging to draw the audience in, but as long as you keep the same level of hype about what you're doing and expressing passion and joy in what you're doing, it'll read across and people will understand. People will pick up on it and they'll love being there.
Gotcha. I like it. Glock, what are your thoughts on captivating people when they come into a stream?
We were actually having this conversation the other day, but I like what Vel said about being hype and being, you know, basically, like me personally, we talked about it last time I was on here. I like to do things that people don't usually see that often, and we were having a conversation because sometimes I get a little too hyped. And one of my mods actually called me out and said, "Oh my gosh, guy gamers get so excited for hitting shots." And we started having a little banter back and forth. Where I was like, "You're just mad because you can't hit those shots." And it's just like it's just like staying interactive with chat, whether it's joking around, being hype, whatever. You gotta just keep it up. You can't just be sitting there quiet. And I think we were talking about that last time we were in here.
Mm-hmm.
I heard your chat just called out who I'm talking about. But yeah, it's just you just got. I mean, I like when people are hype. I love seeing when people are hype and excited, like Val said, smiling and just having a great time. But if I tune in and I see just someone just sitting there, the blank stare on their face, even if they're dumping on people, it's like, yeah.
Do you have
I want to see what?
Do you have any tips for trying to like get more comfortable with doing that on your stream?
It just takes time. It takes time for certain people. Like me personally, I never liked being on a webcam. I didn't like being, but now I don't even care.
Yeah.
It's just you gotta get comfortable with it. It's like even me, I used to like be like super quiet. I would hit a shot, but can I get a clip of that, guys? Now I'm like, Jack, clip that. Oh my god.
Gotcha. Yeah, so it's like a lot of other stuff with your stream, right? Just gonna take practice over time to get comfortable with it. Cool. Good question though, because I mean that is always a big struggle with Twitch streaming in particular. You really have to be finding ways to grab people's attention in 3 seconds when they come in. So I appreciate that question. I want to transition to the second half of the question for Susie in particular. He said, I'd like to hear about what Susie has done to build an audience in the more creative side of Twitch. And what can I do to make a move from gaming to doing more creative things? Now, you made this move before, Susie, from Overwatch to creative. So what are your kind of tips on that?
You have to get your community that you already have interested in what you're doing. And if you have a community that is loyal and there for you, I don't have a huge one, don't get me wrong. If you have people that are there for you, they will see the passion that's in you and they will understand and they will give it a chance. And if they don't like it, they don't like it. But if you're going from something like gaming to creative, it's really important to have some kind of transition between the two worlds. Like if you're going from gaming to, say, drawing, I would say try to focus on drawing something that might have been related to something that you recently played, just to have that transition between the two worlds. But I think it is more important that you talk about why you're doing what you're doing, talk about how passionate you are, how much you love it, why you want to share it with other people.
Mm-hmm.
And it'll come. It's the creative side of Twitch, of Mixer, of anywhere, is a different world. The networking is completely different. But as long as you communicate why you're doing something and why you like the things that you like, you'll find people that like the same things, and it'll start getting a lot easier as you go.
Yeah, I like that you also mentioned the transition and trying to find some common ground by doing creative things related to gaming, whatever your game was before. That makes a lot of sense. And you still see a lot of that in the creative directory, people doing pixel art of video games or drawing video game characters. I mean, that makes a lot of sense for that overlap. But you can eventually transition out of that if you want to as well.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's important to sustain that bridge between the core audience of Twitch and what you're trying to provide, because it's not always easy being a strictly creative on a gaming platform. So
yeah, and actually going back to YouTube, that could be a cool experiment. I actually don't know a lot about YouTube creative streamers, but that could also have some cool features if you make YouTube content and want to try live streaming. I think giving that a shot would be worth it too. Cool. All right, so moving on to our next question from Heedham. This is one that I think I know the answer to for you guys, but I want to talk about it anyway. It says, do you guys watch Twitch for the games or for the streamer? It's interesting. Vel, what are your thoughts?
So if a new game comes out, I'll try to find a any Twitch streamer that I can, just to see, you know, what the game is like, to see if it's something that I would want to stream myself. But most of the time when I'm on Twitch, I'm there for, you know, the streamer. Like, I think that, like, when you network, you don't really need to network with people only playing the same game as you. You can network with people who have the same kind of like mentality towards streaming as you, and like who bring like kind of similar content, because that's more so what it's about. Like, you can forget about the game if the content is on point. If the streamer is energetic and loud or very engaging, then the game doesn't really matter at all. That person could just do an IRL stream or a just chatting stream now, and you know, still bring the same relative content.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's also important to remember when you're like, when you came to Twitch for the first time, what would your answer to this question be?
I mean, at first it was definitely for the game. Like, I started on Twitch looking for streamers who were playing CS:GO at the time, and then obviously the ones that you stick around with are the specific streamers that you enjoy watching, the people who kind of resonate with you as a person, like what you enjoy. I think it's like, in the long run, the content creator is more in the game.
Right. I think it's important to mention that, though, because,
yeah,
you know, all of us at this point have been on Twitch for years. So, I mean, we just know that how important the streamer is, because that's really what the heart of the stream is. But when you're first coming to Twitch, you're probably just going into the game that you like and watching one of the top streamers, because that's just the most straightforward path. So I think it's important to know that as a streamer, to know that that's why a lot of people there's so much distortion in terms of viewership at the top of the directory, because there's so many new people coming in who just want to see what's going on at the top of the game. Susie, you have thoughts on this?
I'm not allowed help on this side of things.
You what?
I'm not allowed to help on this side of things.
Okay. Gotcha. Glock, you have thoughts on whether to be a streamer or a game watcher?
Basically, like he said, like, you go into you're looking for a game, and then you find a streamer, and then if you like that streamer enough, you'll watch him play pretty much whatever. Like, like you said, we've been on Twitch for years, and what brought me to Twitch was watching Counter-Strike, and that's how I found Summit 1G, which everyone knows who that is. And I was like, this guy's pretty cool. I could watch that guy play anything. I don't even care what it is. And, it's just I like him as a in general, and that's kind of how it starts. You find somebody while looking for a certain game, and then you start liking him no matter what, and that's kind of how it goes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think we definitely are all in that situation now, where the streamer is the thing that's long term, right? The streamer is the variable in a stream, because everyone's playing the same game. It's all a matter of how you play it or how you stream it. So that's just how you always have to go on Twitch eventually, even at the top of the directory. I mean, a lot of people will check out some of the top streamers, but you tend to gravitate to one if you're in that big group because you like the streamer. So I think that just makes sense. But it's kind of a cool question, Heat Humps. Thanks for bringing that up. Next one is from Flyride in Discord. He said, should I start playing games on Twitch too? I only stream my automotive work, but maybe I'm missing a big chunk of people that would enjoy my stream with a wee bit of gaming. So this is the guy who streams working on cars, basically. He called in a few weeks back. Yep. I think this applies to stuff beyond just automotive streamers, though. If you are a primary non-game streamer, should you try to work in gaming content onto your stream? Vel, what are your thoughts?
I think you can definitely do that, but you have to realize that it's a different style of streaming. Like, I don't know, I don't think he's still a partner, but GI Toes, who streams himself driving a truck, but then he also does video game streams, but his video game streams don't seem to have the same like the same feeling as his driving streams. So I think when you do like something totally different than what you're doing, you have to approach it from a totally different angle. You have to be kind of more, I don't know, it's hard to say with gaming streams compared to like IRL streams or any sort of like thing that's not gaming, because you can kind of focus a little bit more on what you're doing with working on cars and stuff like that. But when you're playing games, you have to be a lot more active, a lot more energetic and loud, and it's a different thing for sure. So just kind of think about how you're going to do it and make sure you're in that same mindset the entire time.
Actually, Hello Biff in the chat said mechanic simulator, which is actually kind of funny because you do see some of these people who specialize in that as their actual career doing these simulation games. Like you see PC builders doing the PC building simulator, and that's always really funny to watch, the irony of it. So that could be a good option if you want to work your way into gaming. Susie, do you have thoughts on, again, you now primarily do creative things. Do you still try and work in gaming streams?
Not yet, but I'm going full time, and I'm considering maybe every now and then throwing a game stream in, especially with WoW Classic coming up. So I know it's something that I'm going to be playing, and it would be a simple thing to sit and chat with while I'm playing, just like I would be chatting as I'm doing creative. So I might try to incorporate some, but I haven't so far.
Gotcha. Do you think it's a good idea in general to try and do that, or do you think you don't really need to?
It's absolutely not necessary. I think if it's something you want to do, that you should try it.
Yeah.
Wouldn't hurt anything, right?
Sure. Glock, what are your thoughts on someone who's not really a game streamer trying to work in gaming content?
I think Val said it perfectly. It's not the same, but if you want to try and throw it in there, there's nothing wrong with dabbling into it and stuff like that. But it's definitely differently. I can't remember the guy's name, but he used to be a police officer, and he would record himself in his car and stuff like that, sitting in there and talking to chat. And then he dabbled into games, and like Val said, it wasn't the same. It wasn't the same feeling, and it was just you just gotta, basically, one of the biggest things for any streamer is to watch your own content and see what you're doing that you could be doing better, and just realize that there's, creative gaming. I know people that do freestyle rapping for hours, they're on stream and they go to play games. It's not the same. So you just gotta, pay attention to what you're doing and try and perfect both sides of it, I guess.
Yeah, I definitely think you shouldn't feel like you have to do that, right?
No, you shouldn't have to feel like you do that.
Yeah, I think you definitely can look at the rest of Twitch and see all these game streamers doing a great job and getting all the success, but it should be a matter of if you want to play it versus feeling you have to, that's really important. Having the passion there. It's just like any game, right? You shouldn't be streaming a game as a game streamer because you feel like that's what you should be streaming. You should do it because you love it and then work in a way to build an audience around that. And it's the same thing as a non-gaming streamer. So real quick, I want to thank Glock9 for gifting a sub to Bandpan. Thank you, Glock. Appreciate that. I think we had a question in chat from Chef Monkey Gaming. He said, I'm not a technophobe. I've just never had to set anything up like this. Speaking of creative streams, a lot of people have been asking me to do a cooking stream, but I have no idea what equipment or how to go about setting it up. Any ideas? Have any of you guys ever done a cooking stream at all in the past? Susie has. Okay, what are your thoughts on starting a cooking stream?
It's really fun, but it's a lot of work to set up, especially if your equipment is way far away from your kitchen. I had to set up a folding table offside of my counter so that I could put my PC on it and then have my camera set up and all. And it was just like I was doing holiday cooking and stuff like that. It was a mess, but it was super fun. And if you have a camera, toss it up. If you have more than one camera, have one that's looking at you and have one that's looking at what you're doing. It's pretty simple, and it's not a lot different than how my stream setup is. It would just be where you could cook, right? But yeah, having a good mic that isn't going to pick up every tiny thing that you make, every tiny dink, would be fantastic. And making sure that your lighting is going to pick up at least some of what you're doing. Lighting is really important when it comes to being in a space that you're trying to prep food in and stuff like that, where you lose a lot of that, especially if you've got steam coming up and all that. It's not great for cameras and all that. It's fun, and it's worth trying one time. I think Belly needs to do one. That way.
Yeah, I think you do see a lot of people doing like one-time cooking streams. Those are always pretty popular. I want to stress here again too that you shouldn't do it because you feel like you have to. Make sure that you want to do it and not just doing it because your viewers demand it of you. That's important too. Glock and Vel, you guys have any thoughts on this quickly?
Yeah, expect trolls. I had a buddy do a cooking stream, and he messed a couple things up, and I kind of went full Gordon Ramsay on him in the chat a little bit. And so we all just started memeing on him because he would like overcook the bread, and like the steak was definitely well done. And so I definitely went full Gordon Ramsay on him. But it makes it fun as long as you can take the comments lighthearted, but definitely expect that if you make a mistake, somebody's going to potentially go Gordon Ramsay on you. And it definitely made it a really fun stream, I think. And you know, he enjoyed it a lot. Like I didn't do anything that was like totally rude to where like he would be mad, but yeah, just expect some trolling.
Yeah,
for sure.
It's bound to happen.
Yeah.
That's fair. Cool. Well, Chef, you have Chef in your name, so let us know if you decide to do that. It sounds pretty fun. Okay, we're wrapping up the show now, guys. We got about 15 minutes left, so this is kind of last call for questions. If you guys want to get a question in or a call, now is the time to do so. Again, if you are calling into the show, you get to skip the line, and now is kind of the last chance to do that. So, next question comes from Heatham again. Said, how do you guys feel about a top streamer and pro game streamers not talking to chat and no camera, just purely awesome gameplay? Which is kind of interesting. You do see this occasionally on Twitch of people who are just so good at a game, they don't need to do anything else but play the game. People will watch it. It's very, very niche. But Vel, what are your thoughts? Oh, you're muted.
Hello, I'm here now. YouTube for sure. Like if you're actually as good as what you're saying, then YouTube will be a really, really good friend of yours because you can get all the cool editing in and everything. Like Twitch will be great, but a lot of people will go onto Twitch to, you know, either learn how to play a game or just connect with the streamer, watch a game that they like. Not so much just for watching a game, you know, just for, you know, like they might still be able to learn a thing or two of just watching some gameplay, but I think YouTube edits, like YouTube edited videos, will be much more beneficial for you.
Gotcha. Glock, what are your thoughts on a really just high skill player doing nothing but playing the game?
You know, we were actually just having this conversation last night. I hate missing anyone's message. and we were talking about how, you know, someone asked what was the biggest raid I ever got. It was like 1,200 people, and I could not keep up with chat. So like, imagine how Shroud must feel trying to read all of his messages and stuff like that. So a lot of times they'll ignore it, you know, but that's on them. But I think if you're a smaller streamer, especially like, you know, just starting out, or even if you only have like averaging like 30 viewers, you should be keeping up with your chat, honestly. But if you don't like doing that, if you cannot focus on chat and your high tier gameplay, like Vel said, YouTube is the way to go for stuff like that. Because everyone usually comes to Twitch or Mixer or live streaming to interact with the streamer. That's the main thing. So you can actually interact with them, ask them questions, give them a hard time if, you know, or just, you know, I don't know the word, praise them, I guess. I don't know. Like hype them up, basically.
Right.
You know, but, you know, I can understand why, you know, when big streamers don't see your message, because you put it in, it just goes all the way to the top.
Yeah, that's gonna happen. Susie, you have any quick thoughts on streamers who just are really good at a game and that's all they do?
I love watching esports. I could not sit and watch somebody on Twitch live stream playing a game without any interaction at all. I would rather watch it in a YouTube video, so I can go look for something that has plays in some certain game. I don't think I could sit and watch somebody not interact at all.
So I have different thoughts on this, actually. The first side of it is I saw a clip from Shroud the other day, who I think we can all agree is a very, very good player at video games. He was streaming GTA 5 with no camera. He still had his mic on, but he was talking about how he likes to stream without a camera, actually, but he feels like he needs to. Even Shroud needs to, right? So that's an example of someone who's already really good at a game, but gets even more out of it by using a camera and mic. Now, the other side of that is in the League of Legends directory, there's a guy named TF Blade who has been the rank 1 player, like #1 player in America and in other servers too, for a long time. And he's been doing these things recently where when he's very close to the top of the ladder, he'll turn off everything. No camera, no mic, just like really hard music. And he's just grinding and getting to the top of the ladder. And he'll get more turnout during those streams than his regular streams, which is kind of interesting. And it's probably just because he's so close to the rank. Right. But so I think there's examples of both working. But keep in mind, this guy is rank 1 of like millions of players. So this is definitely not something that's going to be relatable to most streamers. If you're like that 0.0001% of person who is just absolutely above everyone else in the game, it can work. Like another example is this really famous South Korean streamer named Faker. Same kind of thing. He used to do streams like this that would just 40,000 viewers, right? He's just so good at the game that it doesn't matter. People are still going to watch it. But generally, I would say don't do that. Take Shroud's advice and realize that you can get more out of it by having those things there.
Who was that guy at the TwitchCon panel? Was it last year or the year before? Where he said he doesn't want to talk to his Twitch chat, and he kind of got like it kind of blew up on him a little bit.
The guy who was like,
he said a little more than that. He said a little
above the average person.
Yeah, I was actually in the room when he said that. I was
dang.
Like, oh. And that was like the most awkward feeling in the world. I'm sorry. Hey, we're all sitting there like, did he just say that?
Even the panelists were just like, whoa.
Yeah, because he basically said, I don't like talking to chat, and then he basically said, they're there for me. I'm on a different level than they are. And we're like, whoa.
Yeah.
I want to know how he's doing nowadays. Honestly,
Yeah,
I don't remember his name. So.
I think it's one of the situations where I think he actually got more popularity because of the situation.
Any publicity is good publicity,
yeah,
right?
Exactly. But I haven't heard it from him in a while. But anyway, back to the question though. I think Vel brought up a good point too, that YouTube is your best friend in that situation. And even if you're doing YouTube, you can still probably get more out of it with a camera, a microphone, all that kind of stuff. So good question though. It's pretty interesting. Okay, we got about 5-10 minutes left. I think some of the last questions we'll do 2. The first one will be Chef Monkey, who asks, any thoughts on IP cameras at all? Are they reliable? Do they lag? Any of you guys use IP cameras before with your streams?
Can somebody explain me what it is?
Okay. Yeah, this is a pretty niche concept. But basically, you can use, with your Ethernet cable, you can use certain cameras that have an Ethernet port as an IP camera. So here in the True office, for example, we have cameras in different units, which are 500, 1,000 feet away, but they link up over the network. So he was talking about for the cooking stream in particular, you keep the setup where it is and plug in an Ethernet cable in your kitchen and be able to stream the camera through that Ethernet cable. So again, I don't think you guys have had a lot of experience with that. I'll just give some quick thoughts. It does lag a little bit depending on the camera. Even if you have really good cameras, there's probably still lag. It depends on the camera and your network in terms of how much there is. It can be pretty decent. Like for example, if you guys seen the LAN room we have here, we have NDI LAN cameras in there that go through IP. They're pretty good, but you still can't beat a direct connection. And they tend to be really expensive. That's the only thing. So I mean, if you're in a situation where you can do it, go for it. And you can do some really cool things with NDI cameras. If you have maybe a camera behind your setup, or you can do zoom effects or something, that's fun to do, but it's definitely a very niche scenario. If you want more information about that, you can definitely get a hold of us and we can help you out with that. Next question, which I think will be our last one for today, is everyone's favorite color. That's from Sestruto. So, rapid fire, Glock.
Purple.
Twitch purple. Susie.
Green.
I like the choice. Vel, what's your choice?
Blue.
All right. That's what I expect. You guys can probably guess what mine is. It's yellow. That's correct. Yeah.
I thought it was green.
No, I'm kidding. It's green. All right. So I think that's going to do it for this week, guys. Thank you, everybody, for coming out. Thanks for all the questions. Lots of good questions this week. Let's go ahead and sign off a little bit here before we wrap it up. Glock, what should people know about your stream, where they can check you out, and anything else you want to plug?
Super hype stream. Every single social is at Glock9, and I love you all.
And that's GL0CK
GL0CKN9NE.
Gotcha. If you guys are listening and that's a cluster, just look in the show notes. You can click on the links there. That will be there. Next up is Susie QQ. What should people know? Anything you want to plug?
I'm a sculptor. Oh, hold on. I'm a sculptor on Twitch. And I'm about to go full time. All my socials, all my stream, everything is SUEZ_QQ. And I hope to see you sometime.
Awesome. Thanks for being on the show at the first time. Hope to have you back very soon. Thanks for being a last minute stand-in, by the way. That was very, very helpful. And last but not least, Vel, you know the drill.
I'm Veloc_TV, and I play FPS games on Twitch. And if you guys are bored at work, got nothing to do, like no work to do, or you just don't want to do it, I'm live, most likely. And that's it.
That's all it is. Cool. Well, thank you guys for watching today. Again, we'll be back next week, same time as always, with more Stream Key goodness. There's been a lot lately, so chances are we'll have a lot to talk about. If you guys enjoyed the show, please consider supporting us on Spotify, iTunes, YouTube. We're on all those platforms. You can catch us all there, and it's over 100 episodes now, so there's a lot of stuff to consume. And also, if you're offline listening to this show right now, you can always submit questions through Discord, Twitter. If you can't get to the live show, just ask them there, and we will read them off during the next show. So no worries. But thank you guys for coming out today. Stay tuned for a raid after the show today, and we'll see you next week for more Stream Key. As always, blaze up.
Blaze up.
Yeah.
Blaze up.
Is that the sign language?